know of God, but they do not know God. Because if you know God, you'd realize that this every type of talent, every gift is a position for service, and God is always reaching out for more souls. God is always reaching out for the outside people. God is always reaching out for the lost sheep. That one, that is what God is concerned about. God is not concerned about how many Torahs you can read. God is not concerned about how many scriptures you can remember. God is not concerned about how many people's sins that you can judge. You know, that's what I feel very bad for some Christians, especially in the music, how they perceive music and like, this is the way. I know sometimes it could be from a place of good intention, right? They intend for good, but they judge. And sometimes that's just enough to get you in the wrong place with God, you know? If you do not know that you're not supposed to be judging anybody, regardless, it means that you do not yet understand what having a relationship with God is about. So it's really about relationship. If you relationship with God, relationship with people. How can you have relationship with people if you judge them? How can you heal people if you judge them? How can you help somebody if you judge them? Like check out the Good Samaritan scenario as well. Everybody that passed, people that know of God, people that know about, we're supposed to know what God wants, right? We're supposed to know the will of God. They saw this person and they walked away because they feel like, God do not want me associating with this dirty Samaritan. These people are not people of God, right? But that very moment, the intention of God is to help another human soul that is suffering. And the idea of Christianity is to heal, is to be the light, not to judge. You know, you cannot help people by judging them. If you judge, it means that you still have things in your heart that you need to heal. But you know what I find interesting is that the church is like a hospital. And what kind of people do you find in the hospital?
Sick people, of course.
Exactly. The people that need healing from something. And most times when people are sick, they don't really know that they're sick, especially when it comes to spiritual healing or mental healing. But I assure you that if the closer you are to the light, the less you see. And you cannot know God's will if you just judge his people. From time about the music, I've always seen myself as a foot soldier, you know. There are people that fire the arrow. If you check, a military, even in the Bible, there are people that, the archers, the foot soldiers. There are people who do the strategy, and we all have a role to play. The people who are in church, who are singing and praising God for the people in church, have a role to play. The people who are outside singing admonishing songs or servicing with their gifts and leading and connecting the dots before they get to the church, there's not enough middlemen or people who lead, who connect their journey for them. So it's a big thing. It's a big thing. But as long as you're judging, you're not helping anyone.
Yeah. So here's what got me thinking a bit. It's interesting how even in church, people feel like there is a certain way you have to look to be a church or to be a Christian.
Yes.
There's a certain way you have to stance. There's a certain way you have to talk to be a Christian. Hence, most times when people gather in church now, what they spend more time doing is looking for positions to become elders, deacons, leaders, and we've forgotten the core thing. And because we are all now lights in the same lights, like you said, we end up blowing so much light around that all of us become blind. Because the light is actually supposed to shine in darkness. Darkness does not exist. It only exists when there is no light. So the moment anywhere,
absence of light.
So in the place of church, you see plenty of people forming, and the moment they leave, they get into, no, we're supposed to take what we are. So when you do love songs, you're touching lives with it. When you do stuff like that, you're talking. So when you do only things, and I don't have any problem with praise and worship, I do that a lot as one of my core. But it's important we get to the point as a church to notice, to know and understand that you don't have to only do praise and worship. You don't have to you don't have to look at somebody that is coming into church because the person is wearing a tattoo. You say, what's this person coming to do in church? Is this person a child of God? Who are you to determine who is a child of God and who is supposed to come to hear the word of God and who is supposed to come to hear the word of God? Why do you look at people like, I mean, some people come into church and look at them and say, what's one doing in church? And all those things. Why do we have that's a topic for another day. But by the way, let me tell everybody here quickly that I'm going to be having credit tomorrow again. But tomorrow we're doing something different. But say what you want to say finally before I come back to it.
Okay. So I was about to say, on the path of holiness, it is very slippery slope. On the path of holiness, it is a personal journey. And until you get to that place where you are holy by yourself, you will not realize that the judgment that you think is correction is actually judgment or is wrong. Holiness is not how you look. Holiness is not how you holiness is not what you, how do I put it? Holiness is inside. Holiness comes from inside. It's like having light, and everything you do, it reflects from inside. Like your words, your action, the way you respond, everything changes. So when you see somebody that you feel like you need to correct, but if you are not shining light yourself, everything that comes out of your mouth will sound as if you're trying to judge and correct them. For instance, what I mean is, if Jesus tell me, say, waiting that they do no good, I could believe him. You understand? I know that he's not judging me. Because I can see from his life. I can see from his life that this person is so relatable. This person is living a holy life. This person is so, like, is so relatable. You get me? But there's something about him that just shines light. Unlike somebody who just carries stick like a Pharisee and tells me that, oh, everything you're doing is wrong. You feel me? The difference is very tricky. But the difference is, think about how Jesus tells people that what they're doing is wrong, and think about how the Pharisees tell people that what they're doing is wrong. It's like you're putting up pedestal that people cannot reach. You get me? But time don't go, Sha.
Man, this time.
We can do another 30 minutes. After this goes off, we can do another 30 minutes.
We can do another 30 minutes, right?
Yes.
Now, here's my point. I think that so guys, I mean, if it goes off, we're gonna come back together, back again. But this does not stop here. I'm going to be having some time with Chioma Chukwuka at some point. I'm going to be coming live here with Chidima. I'm going to also be coming live here with Samuel Poso and Frank Edwards. We're going to be spending time to talk. We're going to have more 30 minutes because it's so much that we'll have to discuss. Now, I remember that one time that you released, after you released God Win and everywhere was buzzing, a couple of church invited you and there was so much judgment.
Yeah.
How did you take it that time? I mean, I saw that you were very disciplined. Did you have this understanding or it was just, how did it happen?
It was interesting because I got to see another side of Christians. I got to see another. It was like God was just showing me something. It wasn't just showing me; it was showing other people as well. It was like, you see, people think the house of God is the church. Don't get me wrong. The house of God is the church.
I got you.
Church. The house of God is this temple. That is what Christ came to do. The physical building is not where God lives. You know? And I think a lot of people were more paranoid that I came to climb that I came to sing on the altar.
The so-called pulpit.
Yes, than the act of service of praising God itself. So that's where religion and thing comes back. When you prioritize religion over service, you get blinded by the lights. You know, this is our temple. What do you mean by that? Jesus said he's going to break it in 3 days. What does it mean by that? You are prioritizing structures over the meaning or the I don't know what to put. But anyways, it's really deep. the house of God is your temple. The house of God is your temple. So many people that were shouting, he came to come and perform on the altar. After they went home, they went to go and abuse their temple, which is the real house of God. They said profane things with their mouths. They treated somebody unfairly. They cheated somebody somewhere, or they just didn't take care of their temple well, which is where God lives. But it's very easy. You see that public goats they suffer. See that one where we say everybody is sick. But I don't know. I just saw a different side of Christians. But as long as the people that were close to me, my pastor was okay with it, Pastor Tide Bakari, like my dad, I performed it in my church more than once. And some pastors who have an understanding of I think it's a generational thing sometimes, because
I agree.
it could be a generational thing, and people are not open to change. People are not open to change, and it has nothing to do with religion. People are just dogmatic about the way things are done. Oh, this is the way Christians should be dressing. This is the way this thing is. And they did not understand that God is a movement. God moves. God is dynamic. God is a... God... Mataji.
Yeah, so again, we'll come back the moment it goes up, in case it goes off. But the other thing that I was thinking about is, you've come for a couple of my concerts, and I've seen you're eager to be part of God's work. I mean,